Is Lestat any less memorable?
How presumptuous.
Number 7. Jerry Dandridge, Fright Night.
Hey, guy.
Colin Farrell plays the sexy next-door neighbor with a deadly secret and an uncanny ability to charm the pants off every woman he meets.
Look at you all grown up. Welcome to Fright Night. For real.
His bad boy vibe gets a little too literal when his suspicious neighbor Charlie realizes that he's a blood-sucking vampire who loves to feast on beautiful women.
Women who look a certain way, they need to be managed.
But even as he's brutally mauling and desiccating his victims, we still can't help but fantasize about getting bit by the horrifying yet down-to-earth Jerry, which is essentially what makes vampires so dangerous in the first place.
Catch you later.
Number 6. Craven, Underworld.
Please, my lord, let me summon assistance. You're in need of rest.
Despite the fact that Craven is possibly the most unlikable character of the entire movie franchise, we are nevertheless attracted to this dark and brooding bloodsucker.
You'll go before Victor and tell him exactly what I tell you to. From here on out.
Played by Irish actor Shane Broley, who, with his black hair and naturally pale complexion, is reminiscent of Bela Lugosi's Count Dracula. Craven is the perfect mixture of Byronic hero and overbearing tyrant.
But when he got to you, he just couldn't bear the thought of draining you dry.
Yes, he is forever screwing his friends over for personal gain, but no one ever said vampires were supposed to be good. And sometimes, it's good to be bad.
That's enough. You're coming with me.
I really hope I live long enough to see Victor choke the life from you.
I bet you do.
Number 5. Vlad III, Dracula Untold.
Men do not fear swords. They fear monsters.
Fact and fantasy blend together in this dark story of the real-life warlord who was the inspiration behind Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Do you think you are alive because you can fight? You are alive because of me!
Luke Evans plays Vlad, a doting father and husband, but also a vicious warrior during the medieval reign of the Ottoman Empire.
We leave. No.
The filmmakers did a pretty decent job at turning one of the most violent men in history into a sympathetic character, and that's without giving credit to Luke Evans' impressive and sexually charged performance that leaves some of us aching to get bit.
I just want peace. That's all.
Number 4. Blade, Blade franchise.
Are you out of your damn mind?
The real question should probably be, what isn't sexy about this weapon-wielding, black-clad killer?
There are worse things out tonight than vampires.
Like what?
Like me.
Wesley Snipes plays the half-vampire, half-human killer, hell-bent on protecting humans from really unfriendly vampires like Deacon Frost, the sexy nemesis responsible for Blade's fate.
You may wake up one day and find yourself extinct.
Snipes' bulging biceps and wicked grin make us want to sink our teeth into something. And by something, we mean him. Of all the vampire characters out there, Blade brings a refreshing take on the genre, a relief from the sentimental, frilly lace cliches.
The hell makes you think you know about hunting vampires?
Number 3. Lestat de Lioncourt, Interview with the Vampire.
Everybody's dying. Pay no attention. Happens to us all.
A younger Tom Cruise takes the 3rd spot on our list for portraying the unabashed and brazen Lestat, an 18th century vampire obsessed with maintaining the status quo of the makeshift family he created.
One happy family.
His victims come to him mostly by way of slow seduction, which is a genre staple that Cruise pulls off with little camp and a lot of swagger.
My friend should taste those lips.
Lestat is unashamed of who he is, and it's his very arrogance and quite possibly his homoerotic infatuation with Louis that leaves the viewer inexplicably breathless and blushing.
No one could refuse me. Not even you, Louis.
Number 2. Edward Cullen, Twilight Saga.
I don't have the strength to stay away from you anymore.
Then don't.
The level of fandom surrounding Edward Cullen, or better yet Robert Pattinson, can only be described as mania.
You're my only reason to stay alive, if that's what I am. But it's my job to protect you.
During Twilight's heyday, teens, moms, and senior citizens were absolutely obsessed with the angst-filled, guilt-ridden vampire who glittered in the sunlight and dined on woodland creatures.
My family, we think of ourselves as vegetarians, because we only survive on the blood of animals.
His inner struggle against the darkness of his bloodlust and his love for Bella Swan was every awkward teenager's fantasy, and his style spawned countless copycats.
Isabella Swan, I promise to love you every moment forever.
If you're wondering who's responsible for a whole new resurgence of vampire popularity and the next generation of fans of the genre, you can thank this eternal 17-year-old.
Can't trust vampires. Trust me.
Before we unveil our #1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Tell Edward how much it hurts. Tell him to avenge him. Tell him. What are you doing? Tell him. Tell her.
On second thoughts, yeah. I could have let them finish you off.
Didn't your father ever tell you, Mary? I can't die. He won't have me.
Treated vampire blood. That's the cure. Welcome back to humanity. Now you get to die.
Interesting. I've been stabbed, and I've been hanged, and I've been burned. Even broken on the rack once, but I've never been shot before.
#1, Louis de Pointe-du-Lac, Interview with the Vampire.
Are you calling me a cheat?
No matter how many films have preceded it, no vampire movie can compare to Anne Rice's adaptation. And no actor has played a hotter vampire than Brad Pitt, though his co-stars Tom Cruise and Antonio Banderas come close.
The world changes. We do not.
In the early 90s, Pitt was better known for his looks than for his acting chops. And here, he delivers a performance that still leaves a new generation of viewers trembling at the knees.
For 30 years, I had avoided that place. Yet I found my way back there, with hardly an upward glance.
Despite being a killer, this is offset by his fragility and self-hatred, which writers have figured out is the winning combination to any vampire fantasy.
I'm flesh and blood, but not human. I haven't been human for 200 years.
Do you agree with our list?
It's fake.
Which other vampire do you find irresistible? For more entertaining top 10s published daily, be sure to subscribe to Ms. Mojo.